programming errors too. All the robots entered through a single open manhole, but none exited through it. It is therefore possible that all the robots in the sewer can be traced back to faulty pathfinding and one missing manhole cover. Because of the limited sources of information available to us, we cannot discount any of these theories as a possibility, except perhaps the Martian invasion one. Our conclusions therefore are that these invasion force, dumping grounds and buffer force theories all have a roughly equal likelihood of being accurate, but we cannot discount the possibility of programming errors in the relatively primitive cyborgs, leading to theories 5 and 6. This leaves the final conclusion of this investigation regrettably inconclusive. Memories of My Time in the Rangers by General S. Vargas. Chapter 3. Walking Back and Going Forward. So, have you gone away and read Simek's history of how me, Angela Death, Hellraiser, Thrasher and good old Ace killed all the robots, blew up base cheese and saved the world? Pretty exciting, huh? Good ending too. Neat, tidy, wraps everything up in a bow. The bad guy's dead, we all live, beers and happy times all around. Well, like I promised you, I'm gonna tell you the bits that didn't make it into the history. Like how the trek back to Ranger Citadel nearly killed us, and that led to us moving to our new headquarters. We didn't really want to walk back to HQ, not after getting the crap kicked out of us by robots for a day and a half. Unfortunately, the chopper wasn't in any kind of shape to fly us back, so we really didn't have any choice. We started marching. It wasn't easy. There were still plenty of killer robots wandering around, and plenty of other baddies who'd come snooping in the aftermath, hoping to pick up some fresh salvage. Tired as we were, we had to fight through them all. Vax was a lifesaver here, taking point in every fight and soaking up a hailstorm of bullets. Then, once we got within a stone's throw of Vegas, and he saw we were safe, it turned around and walked into the desert, and we never saw him again. Damn shame. Only robot I ever liked. In Vegas, we rested up and restocked at Farron Braiger's place. He welcomed us with open arms, and why shouldn't he have? Now that we'd taken care of his cyborg problem for him, the last real obstacle to him crowning himself King of Vegas was gone. We'd smoothed the road for him, and he was grateful. At the same time, even as we rested and celebrated with him and his men, it was clear that we would eventually come into conflict, with us being on opposite sides of the law and all. Still, he wished us well when we left for Needles, and I think he meant it. Everywhere on the road we saw signs of the Wasteland's continuing struggle with the robots and mutants that had brought us north. People think the Rangers blew up base Cochise and that was that, but 100 anonymous struggles followed. Traveling merchants fighting refugee mutants from Darwin Village, the police in Needles fighting cyborgs, even Rangers fought these threats. It took years and years, but added together all these minor skirmishes made the Waste the relatively safe place they are today. A few days on, we passed by Guardian Citadel and had a look in to see what was worth looting. I don't remember which one of us first came up with the idea of taking it over. Maybe Ace, but who knows. It seems like a pretty obvious idea looking back at it. It was secure, self-sustaining, and well stocked, and damn sight more comfortable than the old prison. What more could a ranger want? Our return home was not exactly the beer and sausages affair you might have expected. I won't deny our destruction of the base Cochise was key winning the robot war, but as I said before, it was far from the only battle in that war, nor were the robots the only threats we were facing at that time. There were also Finster's mutant nightmares, some of which had actually managed to breach the walls of Ranger Center, leaving many of our brave brothers and sisters dead, so it was a pretty sober homecoming. It also seemed to me like proof that the Rangers urgently needed to move to a more secure location, and so I went to General Surgru and told him of Ace's idea to move into the Guardian Citadel. Unfortunately though, he was a good man and solid, dependable leader. He was not exactly a visionary, and though I did my best to point out all the advantages of the plan, he refused, saying the times were too unstable and a hasty move was too risky. Angela, Ace and I kicked up a ruckus like the young hotheads we were, but the old man wouldn't budge, and so did the Rangers. Finally, however, time and age did what youth and impatience could not, and General Surgru retired. In the meantime, I'd been climbing the ramps and taking on more and more responsibility, and when he finally stepped down, I stepped in to take his place. We treated the old man with the respect he was due, but didn't wait too long before organizing a move to what is now Ranger Citadel. And I don't think anyone can question the decision now that we're here. We are now more secure, better positioned, and stronger than ever were before. Okay, CMAC, I'm done. It might have been boring. There might not have been enough fighting, but that's what real life is like. It might not be interesting, but there's always more to the story than just they won and then they moved to a new home. Okay. History of the Desert Rangers, Part 1. This is the CMAC version. What comes after the end? The story of the Desert Rangers begins at what many would have called the end of all human history after the nuclear blast changed the face of the world forever and left human civilization with scars that would never heal. But humanity's resilience is its defining trait, and it should surprise no one that pockets of survivors survived the nuclear holocaust. I say pockets speculatively, and some would call me a fool for doing so, for though rumors persist of mutants being cured and turned into humans in Florida, these are obvious fairy tales, and in the century since the nuclear war, we here in Arizona Waste have heard no credible reports of others surviving outside our lonely stretch of desert land. It is therefore fair to assume we're the only ones left. Part 2. Who are we? The Desert Rangers started as an Army Corps of Engineers battalion, and we were deep in the Arizona deserts constructing roads and bridges on that fateful day when the bombs fell. Their isolation saved their lives, but could do nothing for their frightened, broken hearts. One can only imagine the horror they felt as they listened to reports of their home cities and states being obliterated one after the other on their radios. The engineers did not know how or why the nuclear war happened no more than we do today, but their supplies, military training and knowledge of the region gave them advantages over their fellow survivors during the apocalypse and the chaotic years that would follow. They commandeered a nearby federal prison, being welcomed as saviors by the few remaining prison guards, and in a show of mercy that might have been better if tempered by wisdom, the Rangers freed the prisoners into the desert. Why? Perhaps they felt that the apocalypse had already killed enough people. Perhaps they simply didn't want to waste ammo it would have taken to execute them. In any case, the prisoners survived, which led to a volatile mix of survivors, all living together in the wasteland, isolated farming community, scientists from secretive research facilities, citizens of small towns just looking to get by, but opposite them were not just the rapidly mutating monsters of the desert, but equally monstrous humans, cultists and cannibals. Many of these threats were from the original prison population as well as formerly law-abiding citizens who saw the end of the world as an excuse to abandon all of civilization's constraints. Faced with such villains, the army engineers could have hidden in the prison and lived only for their own survival, but they did not. Hearing the cries for help coming from distant radios, they invited many to join them behind their strong walls. They aided other, more established towns, helping them build walls and protect their homes, training them in the arts of defense and war, and helping them develop into strong, stable communities. Part 5. Finster and Cochise. Armed with this information, the Rangers marched off to end the cyborg menace, but it wasn't going to be as easy as walking through Base Cochise's front door. To fight the androids, the Rangers were going to need more and better equipment. To that end, they explored another old facility known as the Sleeper Base, where an automated training program taught them how to fly helicopters. From there, they traveled to Darwin Village, yet another ancient military facility. To their horror, they found another major threat to the waste here, as the former director of the facility, an insane cyborg by the name of Owen John Finster, was creating dangerous mutated creatures that he hoped would inherit the planet once the cyborgs and the dangerous plague he developed had wiped out all humans. Unable to reason with Finster, the Rangers decided to end this threat before it truly started and destroyed him and the base. Soon after, the Rangers learned that the keys that would allow them to enter Base Cochise were held by a dangerous xenophobic sect known as the Guardians of the Old Order, who were obsessed with preserving technology and keeping it out of the hands of the common people. When the Guardians responded to the Rangers' request for the keys with unnecessary force, the Rangers assaulted their fortress, the Ranger Citadel, a massive facility built into the side of a mountain. We now call the place Ranger Citadel. In the end, Hellraiser, Angela Death, Thrasher and Snake Vargas paddled their way to the Guardians' inner sanctum, uncovering a cache of powered armor and a functional attack helicopter, which they flew to Base Cochise, wiping out the android patrols sent to destroy them and landing on the roof. Inside the base, they found a malevolent computer known as the Base Cochise AI, mass-producing the robot Scourge. The Rangers tricked the AI into creating an administrative robot they named Vax, and with Vax's help, they dismantled the robot, making machinery. But knowing that the base would eventually repair itself, they had only stopped the robot horde temporarily, they plunged into the heart of Base Cochise and fought through a gauntlet of mechanical madness to start a chain reaction of explosions that finally wiped the base off the map. Okay. Oh, lots of reading. good stuff. It's interesting though. Let's do specs. Ah. Bowling insists that we get the letter to his sister ASAP. Sounds like a matter of life and death. Sergeant Nelson has asked to bring him any broken weapon parts. Lieutenant Tan offered us explosive ammo and weapons if we can bring him some ammonium nitrate. He says that shit is the best source in the Wasteland, so if it's time for us to get shot. Help Dr. Tiedemann. Rumors of a cure for cancer located in the ruins of Darwin Village Research Facility. Okay. Scratch into the science fictional eyepiece is the word Proteus. Maybe a dorm still. Fierce looking weapon and impressive armor. Looks like security is taken very seriously around here. Dawn? All quiet. Ah, shrine. Each squad member gains +1 skill point. This statue shows the back of a head with 3 tentacles instead of a body, each gripping a stiletto knife. The opposite side of the head shows the same. The plaque at the base says, "A Ranger. In the year of who the F cares, Eric Tiedemann." Okay. So that one we need some mechanical repair for. Ooh, what's this one? Fix It by Guy McVeer. Hidden on the bottom of the shelf. Ooh. I think this is a skill book. I've heard about this. So let me save. Just want to check what it is. +1 toaster repair. This book has tons of useful advice on fixing anything. This chapter on the radio repair has been bookmarked. There's a chapter on toaster repair you find fascinating. And the advice for this is to save it for later, because then you save more points. So like a 6 skill points allocation, like each of these is 4 points, and then it's 6 points, and then 8 points for the last skill up. So if you get a bit further on our character that's got the toaster repair, so the next one is 4 points. So maybe wait till we get a 6.1 and do the skill up there. Yeah, so I think we are facing a level 5 based on the 12% success chance with rank 3. That toaster in the corner must be like a level 5 one based on this stats. Well, install that for a bit. Okay, I think that's most of what I wanted. Terminal, medical bay. Yeah. Cool. Install a few stuff and then get some new stuff. We also have our mechanical guy can break down some of the weapons we're not using. So this is our guy with mechanics 2, or weaponsmithing 2 I should say. That there. Sell some of these. I'm going to give this to the weaponsmith guy as well, because he's the one that has to attach it. I'm not going to attach anything before we get new weapons, which we are about to do. Ah, +1 outdoor Pup Scout Funtime Camping Guide. Oh, no skill book. Okay. No, let's put it on there, we can sell that. Yeah, we've got 2. Sell one of them. I'll keep one of these. So, break down some stuff. Strip it. 100% broken strip. And strip and parts. Steady mag, junk weapon. Okay. Lots of weapon parts. Let's check. Maybe we actually want to keep the trinkets on. We've got a barter. I think we only need like one of these between us. Let's check who else got stuff. Ah, some of this. So this is pump shotgun. Okay, this can be broken down. Can this, as can this, as can this. Triple pots. Triple pots. Open choke. Lots of weight. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is store one of these in our storage. Keep that one. That's Matt Potter. Matt Forrestal's one. And marbles. Sell that. So we've now stored one, so these can be sold. Okay, those can be broken down. Can be broken down. Can be sold. Can be sold. I don't think we get it like one person get it like a trading bonus or gets more stuff. So I think it's just whoever speaks can trade. Open weapon box. still, yeah, he's almost encumbered. Quick save. Welcome back. Did you find me any makings? Is this enough? Well, let's see what you've got. So junk, but also yeah, 700. Nice. 2,300 squad scrap. Okay, and we've stored one of these, so we can sell this. Tactical pack, anxious clothing, marbles. Single. Pod fragment. Junk pants. Okay, what's this? Matt's office key. I think we can store that as well. All squad members. Check. Man, we've got lots of energy sounds. I think once we actually start using it though, we're gonna burn through it. One of those. Digital camo pants. What is that? Okay. 26 XP. Sweet. Just check. Let's go. Thank you. Digital camo pen. Spray pen. Store that. Might be cosmetic. Got the spray paint in a toaster, so I'm gonna store that. Not sure if we're gonna need that. Okay. And then I want to get better gear for these guys. So I want some armor for all of them. Got 2. So my sniper still needs armor. 1, 2, 3 of them need armor. Should have had a look. Okay, so we want armor. The bulletproof shirt for. Okay, I like these. A bit expensive though. 300. 125. Full armor. So tactical vest for 500. And we need to make sure we get ammo as well. I'll get a good sniper rifle if we can. Oh, look at this. 45 to 59. Bullpup. 6 AP. So this is one that I might be very interested in because it's cheaper at AP and then we just need one more AP to get 2 shots in per round. I think that's the only sniper rifle, right? Pulse rifle, energy weapons. Even 9 hit chance, 21 crit chance. 27-meter range, so it's slightly further range as well. It's got that. Okay, 900. This is a sniper rifle. It was still 6 AP. I was thinking if there's like a 5 AP one, go for that. Shotguns. Farmers. 600. It's a big upgrade though. Ooh. M4 carbine, and she's got a M4 carbine as well. And we've not really come across the stuff that needs energy weapons. I'm gonna hold off on buying any of those. Coach gun shotguns. There's a slightly cheaper one, 17 to 30, but it's not as big an upgrade though. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Give one more. Okay, good choices. Fill up your canteens. Don't forget. Okay, so now I want to make sure our peeps got the right guns, and all guns can be given and broken down and sold, so we can actually get ammo for our gun. Ooh. We can equip that. Looting some and a crazy doctor. Packs. Oh, come on. Did we sell the pack? We need to buy it back. That's a utility pack. This is just clothing. I think. Yeah, we sold one of the packs we had. It's actually a piece of equipment that we can equip. Okay, so she can still get a better assault rifle. Okay. +1 luck. -2 animal whisperer. She hasn't got a secondary. Okay, does she have handguns? And 4 points. Alarm disarming. So her handgun is actually uses shotgun ammo. So we got the better one. Let's break it down. Sturdy mag, under barrel, flashlight, junk box. Hey, we got the junk box. And full carbine. I'm worried about that tooltip that they gave that says people can steal your stuff, so carry spares. Strip for parts. We can come back and get more stuff. It's got energy weapons. Might sell all the other energy besides the big stack. Makings. Okay. And sell for one. Ah, it's only $1 per. And then I want to buy ammo. So we need assault rifle ammo and a little bit of sniper ammo as well. However, I'm gonna take a short bio stretching break there, just before we get the ammo. I'll be back in 2 to 5 minutes.